everyone. Today I am talking to Brooke Gagliardi, and she is a mortgage loan officer with First Liberty Bank Mortgage. And I'm also talking to Jennifer Hubbard, who is a realtor in Oklahoma. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Well, I would love to start with you, Brooke, because whenever I think about, buying a home, it all starts with getting approved for that mortgage loan. So do you have any kind of top tips or where you should start in the process of getting approved?
Absolutely. So I always highly recommend starting with an experienced real estate agent. They're going to know the areas to be looking in, kind of the price range you're wanting to look in, and they are going to immediately want to refer you essentially back to me for that pre-approval. A couple of things you're going to want to make sure that you have in order is employment, income, credit, debt obligations, that type of thing. Make sure you kind of have a handle on those. And then I will be more than happy to help you. I know what we're focusing on here is that transition, obviously, from another state to Oklahoma. And I have plenty of experience in that. Working with Jennifer, we've transitioned so many clients as far as employment goes, as far as that income goes, trying to find that remote work. We can qualify on the remote income as well. And then basically, we just want to make sure that your credit history and debts and obligations are in order, and I'll help you get there. We can create a great game plan. So it's so great to start early in the process. So many people kind of want to get here and then figure it out. It's so much better when you're working with an agent and a lender to start that process early so that we can all put our heads together and figure out the best game plan.
And perfect. And so what would happen if someone's credit maybe isn't great? Do you have options for people whose credit's not as good as they would like it to be?
Absolutely. So what I have is I have a couple of programs. One I can touch on is rapid rescore. So if we're looking and we have some delinquencies or we have some medical collections, that type of thing, I work with you. I run a program. We set up a game plan and we can do an immediate rescore. So if you will follow the instructions provided, we can essentially get your score bumped anywhere from 10 to 40 points based on literally just following those instructions. And we can get it done usually within 30 days or less. So that's a great program we offer. And if that's not available, I'm here. I give everybody my cell phone number. We work day to day. We grind at it. We chip away at it. I'm here to kind of counsel you through that process. That's my job, to be an advisor on the financial aspect as well.
Oh, I like that. And then the other question that I had, if someone's moving from a different state to Oklahoma, and maybe, they've got a job offer, or maybe they're looking for a job, what is it better to apply for the mortgage loan when they still have an existing job in their prior state? Or how does that kind of transferring transition employment work?
Sure. So most people do typically apply while they still have the employment in the other state. And I'll make note of that. And the first question I'm going to ask is, are you allowed to work remotely anywhere from the US? If not, then we're going to structure a game plan. Can you work remote? Could you get a letter from HR that states that you would be able to work remotely? If not, then we look into possibly looking for W-2 employment here, and we can accept offer letters as a form of income. So we want it within a specific timeline. I would obviously go over that with the client. But a lot of times Jennifer and I will help kind of navigate what they're looking to do here. Would they like to be an electrician? Let's get you connected with the right people and look to see if we can start getting some offer letters, because I can essentially use that offer letter with a start date and stated income in the system to basically go ahead and get you pre-qualified for the home that you're looking for.
Perfect. So there's no excuses not to get started in this process.
Exactly. Get started. Yes.
Well, wonderful. Well, Jennifer, so now we know that you can find a way to move to Oklahoma. You have an interesting story because you're not from Oklahoma. You actually moved from California. So tell me what it was about Oklahoma that drew you from California.
Well, the number one thing is family. So I have an adult daughter that moved to Oklahoma, and we just came out to visit. We hadn't really considered seriously moving. And when I came out and I saw the sense of family, I knew that my other children that were still in school needed to be here. And when I found out how affordable it was to move to Oklahoma and that there was still great jobs, it was something that we could make a reality. And we did it really quickly. And it's been so successful. We've all thrived in Oklahoma.
Wow. Well, I've driven through Oklahoma and I worked in North Texas and used to come across into Oklahoma. So I know that it's great people and like you say, very affordable. So tell me kind of a little bit about your market. So when you say affordable, what is your average price point?
Well, our average home price right now is about $235,000 to $250,000. We also have options in the $100,000 range as well, like 1,400 square foot houses for new first-time home buyers. There's also brand new home options right now that are really affordable. So I think that whether you're looking for your very first home or you'd like a mansion in Edmond, we've got all of the possibilities.
Absolutely.
Wow. That is really affordable. So obviously, so now we know your market's affordable. Tell me kind of the area that you work in, because most people, maybe may not know a lot about Oklahoma. So, obviously Oklahoma, are you in the Oklahoma City kind of region? Is that the main area that you cover?
Well, this question kind of makes me want to laugh, because this question is what shaped me in real estate in Oklahoma. So moving to Oklahoma and being new to the area, being a realtor, I just started working anywhere that someone wanted to buy a house. But something that I quickly shifted into was relocation real estate. And so I work with 90% out of state clients. And a lot of people look at Oklahoma and they just see a dot on the map, but there's so much more to Oklahoma than just one specific area. And I was doing a lot of traveling because I can't convince everyone to move to my area, but I want to help as many families as I can. So I started traveling to the east side of the state. Well, I've built a team of realtors and now I've relocated people. I kind of actually have a map of Oklahoma where I have little dots spread out everywhere. And so it's really up to the client and what the client is looking for and what their needs are. So I work in the Tulsa and Oklahoma City, metro and rural areas is what I try to say. There's a few pockets in the corner of the state that I'll go to for the right client and to help the right family.
Okay, so for someone who's never visited Oklahoma, the impression is that it's just flat and open. Can you kind of describe, presumably the further west you get, the more kind of deserty it is, and then the further east, is it a little bit more green? Are there any hills? Are there any trees? I mean, what I know the state's big, but can you find anything that you're looking for in Oklahoma?
I feel like that is absolutely true. We even have sand dunes in Oklahoma. People don't know that. But, a lot of people, they think of Oklahoma and they just think of like this burnt field. And even I did before I got here. But what's really cool is if you see Oklahoma City and Tulsa moving down towards Texas and over towards Arkansas, things are very green. You look out from your back porch and you see rolling hills of trees. And it's just gorgeous. The sunsets in Oklahoma are to die for. So we've got a lot of lakes, water features. It's really diverse.
I was going to say, being born and raised here, we have Turner Falls, we have waterfalls, we have mountains in Medicine Park, we have lakes in Tulsa area. Everywhere that we have, I think we have the most man-made lakes in any state. So we just kind of have this plethora of everything. And like she mentioned, we have sand dunes, we have Little Sahara, you can go out and ride your four-wheeler. So, we have it all. So it's definitely pretty much fit for anyone.
But boater, hunter, and fisher paradise here.
Yep.
Big time.
They've developed a 150-acre area that's going to be concerts and walking trails. We have a river sport, so you can go rapids. You can do anything there. So it's going to be a really cool up and coming area for a lot of families. So,
and sorry, could you just say the name of that place one more time?
Sure. It's called the Wheeler District. Okay. So based on the Ferris wheel. Yep.
Love it. Well, so when I drove through Oklahoma City on my way to California, and we stopped by where there's that amazing sculpture of like the wagon train and the cattle and the horses. That was phenomenal. It was quite warm that day, but it was worth. I've got some pictures of looking very sweaty in front of me. It was beautiful.
Well,
and I just.
Well, moist, yep.
Yeah, but the city had just such a great vibe, and I've not been to Tulsa for years and years. I worked in Ponca City, Oklahoma for about 2 months.
Didn't last long.
No, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, absolutely. They were. I could live there. Ponca City was a little bit too small for me.
Those are those pockets for the special,
but what I always say is you can never base where you should move to on someone else's opinion, because Ponca City could be that perfect rural, ranching kind of area for that hunter, or that, that person who just wants to get away from, metropolitan living. So
exactly right.
Well, perfect. So, school. Let's talk about schools and amenities.
So I still have a daughter who is in elementary school going into junior high. That was one of the reasons that I moved here. We were in a position where we lived in California, where we had live-in childcare. We both had to commute so far to get to work every day. There was no busing system, so we had to pay people to drive our daughter to school, pick her up. And then to be able to afford to live where we were at, we had to work so many hours. So, coming to Oklahoma and coming back to the family factor of why I moved here, that I'm able to have a bus pick my daughter up from my house. I remember her first week of school, and I said, well, where do I pay for this? How do I pay for that? And they said, no, you're fine. And I said, well, you're going to pick my daughter up from school. You're going to feed her lunch and breakfast. You're going to educate her and then bring her back to me. Are you serious? So talk about getting what your tax dollars are going into. And the class sizes here are so much smaller. The level of respect that the children have for the teachers, they say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir to the teachers. The teachers treat them like family. And it just makes me feel a lot better about leaving my daughter every day and knowing that she's in good hands.
I think for anybody with a learning disability or those challenges, that type of thing, I think our districts are so phenomenal at focusing on those. If they see any difficulties or somebody's kind of, held back a little bit, they are so involved in talking to the parents and how can we help. So I think that's really special. So what you touched on, I think that is so true. It makes such a difference when it's on that personal level and not just test scores.
Well, wonderful. So what about employment? What are your major employers?
That's a big one. That's a really good one. So a lot of people don't know that we have a lot of aerospace jobs here. Boeing has a location here. We have one of the biggest, or maybe the biggest, Air Force Base, Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma City. Healthcare jobs. What are some of the other big jobs?
OU Medical's huge here. University of Oklahoma actually employs a ton of people as well. Their athletic department, medical department, all of that. Amazon, we have an Amazon warehouse here. Hobby Lobby, Walmart, those, we have tons of warehouses here in the state as well.
State of Oklahoma employs, I believe, 44,000 people.
So we have
a lot of state jobs.
There is an abundance of employment here. And it's this is what I love. It scales from everything, right? It scales from whether you're down here and just kind of want to kind of move into electrician or, warehouse, that type of thing. Or if you are an engineer and looking to kind of, tag on to Tinker Air Force Base, that type of employment as well. We have plenty to offer as far as that goes.
Another thing too with employment here is that as being self-employed, being an independent, business owner, it is really important to me that my state backs me up so that I can make a living so I can support my family. And the governor here has passed laws to help with self-employed health insurance. And there is a lot of self-employed people. People are able to start a dream. They're able to start a business. They're able to create something of their own, and they're supported. They're not just, well, we're not going to point any fingers, but they're not just taxed for it or punished for it. They're encouraged to thrive. And I think too, that runs over into economy and taxes. So if you're not self-employed, the state income tax here is astronomically lower than it was for me when I lived in California.
Property taxes as well.
Oh, absolutely.
We have some of the lowest property taxes in the United States. So that also makes the affordability, so.
And what is, do you know what your average, obviously it's going to change, I know, across the state, but
it's like 0.86% to 0.97%. I'd say on the highest scale, maybe 1 or 1.25.
Wow. And then when you combine that with a much lower property price, then you're getting so much more for your money, because you're getting a bigger house for a much lower price, and you're paying lower property taxes. So
Exactly.
win-win. So if I know you mentioned that if someone wanted like a $1 million mansion, you could find that too, but a lot of people who probably think about Oklahoma imagine ranches and having land and homesteading and that kind of thing. Do you, I presume you have those kind of properties available? Do you have any kind of idea what, if I wanted 10 acres, somewhere in Oklahoma, what would be kind of a price for that?
I have a client, well, I have a few clients right now that are looking for exactly that. They want to be rural, 45 minutes to a grocery store. And they would like at least minimum 10 acres, but they're looking for a 2,000 square foot house. That's another thing, square footage. A lot of people say, oh, a minimum of 15. And I said, come on, it's Oklahoma. Let's get you that 2,400 square foot house, because it's possible. But right now, between 285 and 320, you can get a really nice country home on 10 acres with a small shop or a decent sized shop. So that is really affordable. The closer you get to the city, a little bit higher, that price is going to go up, but it's definitely doable. If your dream is to live in a condo, we have condos also. And I found one client from Arizona purchased his retirement home out in the forest out towards Arkansas, and he got 30 acres with a beautiful cabin. And let's just say he got a really great price, and they're so happy living the dream.
Well, so as we're talking about your market, I would love to know kind of what is your average time that a property stays on the market?
So last year, this time, homes were on the market sometimes a day, 2 days, or 3 days. The market has slowly started to flatten a bit with interest rates coming up. It's kind of pulling it back into the buyer's market, but it's still strong. We're looking at 5 or 6 days average on the market right now. We normally get about 3 to 5 showings per offer. So it's still competitive. Sometimes folks will think that because it's Oklahoma that they can come in and, the houses just sit. That's not true. A lot of people want to move to Oklahoma. And so it's important to get our feet in the door and see that house as soon as it hits the market, so that we know if it's a good option for you, and then start making moves forward if we want to put in offers.
So you say you specialize in people who are relocating. So if someone's moving from a different state and wants to move to Oklahoma, what are the kind of the things that you specialize in to make that journey easier for them? Obviously, because you've done it yourself, so you know exactly what they're going to go through.
Well, the hardest part about moving to another state is not being there, is not knowing and not having feet on the ground. And so one of the things that I bring to the table, aside from having a team like people like Brooke, where we can talk with you on a Sunday, is it's a 2-hour time difference. So I've been on the phone doing a buyer's consultation at 8 p.m. California time to get it done. The most important thing is making that first call, calling me. You call me the first time. That first conversation that I have with a client is the most important conversation, because it's where I'm going to get to know you. You're going to get to know me. I have to create a sense of trust so you can trust me being your feet on the ground over here. And we can work out a plan, whether it be video tours, whether it be planning the date that you're going to come and visit. If it's me sending you job listings, connecting you with other people in the community. I have a lot of clients that we get through pre-qualification and they don't qualify for loans, but we still help them, because I'm trying to help as many families get here as possible. I've helped over 40 families relocate from other states to Oklahoma since this time last year. And the number just keeps growing. So, there's a lot of different ways. I'm here to help. Sometimes I tell people I'm not just a realtor, I'm a cheerleader, I'm a marriage counselor,
Therapist.
When people call me because they're upset about dealing with the moving trucks and all of the logistics of moving, I can relate to you. I have empathy because I've been there, and I'll just be your biggest supporter until you hit the ground. If it's a year out or 2 years out, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm just going to kind of ride her coattail on that. I have to vouch for Jennifer on that. I have never seen so much love and hustle and grind from an agent. I absolutely love working with her because her passion shows. Everything she does with every client, that client will call me and be like, oh my gosh, I'm working with Jennifer and she's amazing. And I'm not just saying that to say that. She literally pours her heart and soul into helping these families. It's not a transaction process for her. And I think that's why we've connected so well, is because California people are on a, totally different time zone. We're both available at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. our time, or later. I mean, we're taking texts, we're taking calls, because we understand. Like, we're making ourselves available because this is such a huge transition, such a change in life, and such a process to go through, that we want to be there to help every step of the way. And Jennifer is just the biggest advocate for getting people on the ground here and feeling comfortable and having a sense of calling it home. So
if someone wants to get in contact with you, what is the best way to contact you?
My cell phone number is really easy. It's 405-444-4301.
Perfect.
So, and you can always find me on Facebook. I'm all over the place on Facebook.
Okay. And do you ever want people to, like if someone's old school and they want to email you, or do you prefer that they just call or text you?
Emailing me is fantastic. Texting is great. I've got clients that send me video messages. I even have some clients that live in rural parts of other states, and we communicate through Facebook Messenger. It's really cool to have Facebook also, and these different platforms, because they don't just know my name and, maybe see a picture of me on a business card. I like to express myself on my page. They can see the other families that I've helped. They can see pictures of homes that I've sold. They can see what I'm doing. I try to post photos and videos of the community I live in, because it's important for them to see us thriving here also. And just, it gives us more of a personal connection.
Well, wonderful. And what is your email address?
Is jennifer.hubbard@brix, realty.com.
Okay, perfect. And I'm going to link all of your contact information in the notes wherever you're watching, people watching this video. Well, anything you feel like we haven't covered that you want to finish with?
No, I think that just give us a holler. Even if you're not looking to move, if you don't know if Oklahoma is the spot for you or not, let's have that conversation. Maybe I'm going to give you the answer that tells you, no, Oklahoma's not for you, and that's fine. But I do encourage people that if you're seriously considering Oklahoma, start asking the questions, make the plan, get the plane tickets, come out and visit. I'll put you on my calendar. I have people on my calendar for months out. So-and-so is landing on this day. And then I'll just take you out. We'll go look at a house. It's no pressure, but you should come see what we have to offer, because it may or may not be for you. But, that's what Brooke and I are here to help you figure out.
Absolutely. We actually have a mutual client right now that she's like a year or two out from buying, but she's already contacted both of us to have her game plan in place. The sooner you reach out, the more prepared you're going to feel, and we're going to help you get there. So.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. I really enjoyed learning more about Oklahoma.
Yes, thank you, Alison.